It's that hour with Leah Piper, your host at Sex Reimagined, with my other host,
Dr. Willow Brown. Today we interviewed a very special man in the field of sacred sexuality, a man named Lenerd Louw, a South African man who has been around the world and back. He actually left his life, his job, his country, his continent. He sold everything. He gave it away. And he bought a one-way ticket to South America and journeyed around the world, studying, learning, and healing and awakening for 5 years. Through all of that, he now teaches men how to meet and process their emotions, how to get to know their inner feminine, how to align their hearts, power, and businesses, and how not to ejaculate so that they can last 4 hours in bed. He is an incredible wealth of wisdom. We had such a great time talking to him. He's got a book that he's sharing with you all as his free gift, and you're going to want to check it out.
wow, Lenerd Louw. I just have to say, so refreshing to talk about ejaculatory choice with a man who's been practicing and teaches other men. This is such an important interview, an important concept. Don't worry, we're not telling you never to ejaculate again. We still want you to have pleasure. In fact, we want you to have even more pleasure by practicing ejaculatory choice. So tune in, turn on, and fall in love with Lenerd.
Welcome to the Sex Reimagined podcast, where sex is shame-free and pleasure-forward. Let's get into the show.
Welcome, Lenerd. We're so happy to have you here today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about one of our favorite topics, which is ejaculatory choice. We're so excited to have a man on board to tell us more about this. Yeah.
Super excited to be here talking to the two of you. I've been really looking forward to this. Thank you.
You know, I was looking at some of your information and looking at part of your journey, and I was sort of struck by, you having this moment in time where you had to act, you had to do something, you had to change, and you gave away all your stuff or you sold it, you changed locations, and you go on this epic journey for, I think it said 5 years. So tell us a little bit about how you got started on this path.
Yes, I call it my rock bottom Clifton walk. Clifton Beach here in Cape Town, an unbelievable, beautiful spot, and I was staying on the beach basically, and I was that stage very much in business and corporate, and running an insurance company in South Africa, CEO of an insurance company, and I had fun in my days. But then the last few years, I just realized I needed to do something different with my life going forward, and I distracted myself a little bit from the voice telling me to do the journey, the jump, deep journey in, and to really clear out the old and make way for the new. And then on that day, after 2, 3, 4 years, when I walked there, I just couldn't see the beauty around me anymore. And it's a pretty magical place, Cape Town and Clifton. And I just realized I'm so disconnected from myself, so disconnected from nature, from people. Yeah, so I just jumped, So it looked like a jump to the outer. I resigned, sold everything, bought a one-way ticket to Lima in Peru. And that became a 5-year journey, 35 countries all around the world.
Wow.
A lot of workshops, initiations, learnings. It's a tremendous, tremendous journey.
How old were you at the time?
Yeah.
Pardon?
How old were you when you had sort of this midlife breakthrough, maybe?
No, I was 49. I was a young, beautiful, fit, lean 49.
Yeah, right on.
And did you ever imagine, Lenerd, that it would be a 5-year journey? I mean, because I personally just took the leap myself 2 years ago, and it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. So I'm just curious if when you took the leap, you thought it would be that long of a journey.
Willow, absolutely not. I thought let me do at least 3 months, honestly.
Yeah.
And I thought at least 3 months, maybe a year. And I don't know what I was jumping into. I thought I was on my way to New York because I thought I was just bored of this business that we were in and I was doing, and I was look at new innovations and new stuff in the world out there. But the temperature, for an African to go to New York in in December. January is not good. It was like super
Right.
cold. I thought South America first. I'll just spend a few months there, be in May in New York, and then, a few months later back. And it just turned. Everything changed, So,
And so,
it
and so
expanded.
it just kept going. And you were, when you left on this life shifting journey, you were not really out in particular to become a sexual healer or coach around sexuality.
If you tell me that, ask me how long was this now? 10 years ago, that you and I would be having this conversation about sexuality and men's sexuality, where I came from, what I did previously in my life, I would have really laughed. Not at all. It really just became a journey, deep inner journey. And it was, it included a lot of stuff on spirituality, sexuality, spiritual sexual shamanism, but also crystal healing, energy, India, meditation, so much. But sexuality was a big central theme in it.
Yeah, when I hear you say I went to Peru, I immediately think plant medicine. So was ayahuasca and some plant medicine kind of a part of your journey? And like what? Well, I'll ask that question. I've got a follow-up question. I'm kind of famous for asking 3 questions at the same time.
Perfect. Yeah, so it wasn't. And what happened was me in South America, and that's where the spiritual journey in a way started, is I got sick with parasites. I went from a lean, fit 82 kilograms to 72 kilograms. I don't know what that's in pounds, but it almost doubled it. So I was losing about 10, probably 20 pounds of muscle. I really was, I was going through tough times, and I was trying antibiotics and everything, and it didn't work. And then someone said, well, try ayahuasca. So that's how I came across plant medicine. And then I had this journey with ayahuasca, and then I realized, okay, wow, man, there's a lot more here. And I ended up in the 5 years doing all the four different, plant journeys, psilocybin, San Pedro, and Iboga also over the 4 years. So it actually became also quite a big teacher for me.
I bet. I don't think anyone can visit those medicines
Realms.
and not have it be a big reality shift.
Profound.
Yeah. So how did the whole sexual aspect of this come into your consciousness that that's the shift you needed or wanted?
Yeah, that's fascinating. So after the ayahuasca journey in Colombia, it's actually Colombia, not Peru. From Peru, I went up to Colombia, spent 6 months there. And I ended up at the Lake Lago Atitlan in Guatemala. And I was still suffering with the parasites. And I came across someone there, that shamanic guy that said to me, now listen, someone around the corner can help me with emotional release, because that would help with the whole with the parasites. And I did that. And then she told me, oh, by the way, there's a Tantra festival in Hawaii in 6 months' time happening in a big island, Hawaii, the Puna Coast. And they're also doing a spiritual sexual shaman level 1 6-7 day journey there. And that could also really be helpful. So it's totally by coincidence. Yeah, it's like it just happened. So then I just got on a plane, flew to Hawaii. I wasn't even sure. I didn't register for the course. I just arrived there. I thought, let me check this out. I went to the Tantra festival, first time in my life, and it started with like eye gazing, and I was like, wow, what? So I thought it was really new. I was like a really innocent boy in this world of spirituality, if you could call it innocent.
You were a Tantra puppy.
Yeah, I was a puppy, man. I was like doing this eye gazing, and I thought. And then the next evening, there was ecstatic dance, and there was this big sign up there, no alcohol, no drugs, and no talking on the dance floor. And I went, wow, how am I going to dance without having a drink or something, So, I mean, now I look at that version of myself and I just have a smile, because I do often go to ecstatic dances. I can just dance. I mean, but it's amazing, the conditioning of how, of life, So that was really just an expansion. And after the Tantra festival, I just loved what I saw. And then I went into the 7-day journey. And that was profound. It was on Tantra, it was on sexuality, but there was lots of other stuff also in it, And I really met my inner feminine. That's the part. There was so much learnings in the 7 days, but I really met my inner feminine. And in Hawaii, I just, after the course, would walk on the beach. I write in my book about it, on a date with my inner feminine, And I really felt it so profound. And this from a guy that in Cape Town days had the crazy drug, sex, and jacuzzi life there, on the deck, just me and 2, 3 women having sex. And I was like quite unconscious, and it was always the outer feminine. I was always attracted to the outer feminine. I love women. And now I'm in Hawaii and all these beautiful women around me, and I'm not connecting with any of them. I'm taking myself on a date on a beach. So, it was super beautiful and interesting.
That
And I
must have
wrote
been
about it, I
real.
blogged about it, and a lot of my friends thought and wrote and said, what, this guy's losing it. But for me, it was a
Well,
beautiful experience.
and Hawaii is the perfect place to be connecting with your divine inner feminine. And so this is one
Totally.
of the things that you help your clients, especially your male clients, with is connecting or possibly reconnecting to their feminine energy. How do you work with people around that?
Yeah, most guys like I was, just to start on the emotional part, are so disconnected from their emotions. So I kind of start, just to get the emotional body moving, for people to just connect in their emotions, do emotional expression release, and then start moving the emotional body, and then also, and then the erotic body can also start going there. And for me specifically, one thing, and I'll just jump straight in there. Just one thing that was very important for me in that week-long residential training is that we actually had a sacred spot massage, which is the male prostate massage.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And I really connected with my inner feminine in that exercise.
Yeah, so
love
we're
that.
very familiar with this practice,
I thought
and
so.
it's cool to hear how that comes together. Will, you want to say something a little bit, give a little bit background on male sacred spot massage?
It's a powerful practice. I've had men just absolutely puddle in my hands and completely watch their synaptic pathways in their brain and the rest of their body change before my very eyes. It's really powerful. There's a couple of different places inside of a man's ass, which is the prostate and the G-spot. So working with both it can not only create so much more profound pleasure inside of a man's orgasm, but also just it can help with that ejaculatory choice, and it can really help him understand his inner feminine. I actually have another dear friend who started to have a very heterosexual man started to have sexual relations with another man just because it was an exploration, and it was something that, he hadn't gone down that road before. And he, after having that experience, it just said the way that he enters a woman now is completely altered and completely different.
Yeah.
100%. Well, that was my experience. It was, I was lying there with my legs open, feeling super vulnerable, and luckily I drew a woman as a partner, not as a man. That would have been just too much for me if as a heterosexual man coming across this. And I had this beautiful tiny woman asking me before she entered me, asking me permission to enter, my hands and the finger. And I felt so honored. I felt I could, in that moment, felt how a woman would feel lying with her legs open and you penetrating her. It totally changed my relationship with penetration. It was really profound. To your question that you asked earlier, I don't jump in with the guys. I don't specifically do body works, but I really get them just really to also, when the music is on, to drop into their feminine, to dance like a woman would, not just like a man, but to really flow with stuff. But I think really, for most guys, it's really a great experience to have. It was profound for me. And after the massage, we were lying there, and they put like a sarong over me, and the music was playing. And I promise you, I truly connected with a collective womanhood, And I started crying. I had this. I just felt this almost this hurt of the, like the hurt and damage that had been caused to the collective woman. I could feel I tapped into collective womanhood, and I went, wow. What the last few thousand years have done in patriarchy to women, obviously to men also, and a lot of damage. But I dropped into that space. So for me, it was profound, where I was coming from left brain, business, law, marketing, finance, and then, in a workshop in Hawaii, and you're having this experience. So Yeah.
How do you think the world would change if every man on the planet had that experience, Lenerd, that you had?
But I promise you, I don't think there will be. I mean, that's a big thing to say, but I don't think there will be any wars. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think there will be so much more compassion. I think specifically men will be integrated in their masculine and feminine energies much more. Um, we were because I did a number of these. I did ended up doing 10 of because there's level 1, 2, 3, whatever of these around the world over 4 or 5 years of these trainings, and we were used to. And I've been assisted in a few, and we were
Are you
used to
referring to
joke.
ISTA?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was one of
Yeah,
the
okay, that's what I thought. Yeah,
yeah.
International Temple Arts,
School of
did I
Temple
write?
Arts. Yeah,
Yeah, School of Temple Arts. Yeah.
yeah. And the guys were always joking. They always say that that the European Parliament, that should be compulsory, like once a week or once a month. Everyone there should go for a prostate massage.
That's
it'll be.
right. That's right. Well,
I know they said
Totally
it'll make it.
different. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think you bring up a number of important points. One is I think it would be hard for men to understand if they've never had the experience of being penetrated, the
Yes.
psychic magnitude that comes with being penetrated. And
Yes.
so there's something that happens when a woman has been, penetrated over time with a lot of unconscious energy. Because the second chakra of the genitals is the most psychic of all the chakras. And so when we get penetrated, we are experiencing, if the man is unconscious, like, oh God, I just want to relax. I just want to sleep. I just want to let go. I've had a stressful day. That kind of energy can then transfer like a depository to her nervous system. And then over time, we see women is in a lot of marriages also where they stop being interested in sex. They
Yes.
stop caring about sex. They start resisting sex, and it becomes less for them because it feels like it's always for their partner. And there's something so powerful that men can make a simple shift. And that is right before they penetrate to come up with a thought form for what you want to deposit into her system. Love, beauty, belonging, safety, trust, vulnerability, passion, aliveness. And it just takes one thought form to transform the energy that comes from you to them. And so I think the same presence can then be afforded to penetrating a man. And I think this amazing, profound experience of being a man and being penetrated, you get to feel what we call like this yin essence. And this thing opens inside of you. And I've never met a man yet who hasn't had that experience, who isn't more aware of, like you said, that moment of like penetration, of being able to understand what it feels like to hold that yin essence. I think when men hear about this for the first time, they do get scared. Like, oh my God, what if I like it? What does that mean about my sexuality? Will I be gay in the morning? And so oftentimes that's a roadblock from wanting to have any ass play, quote unquote. And so I love hearing men talk about this because they need to hear from other men that it doesn't change your sexual identity. It just gives you more access to more of yourself, not only more inner reflection, more emotional material, information, connection, expression, but then there's a whole pleasure pathway through simple anal orgasms that's also very different than ejaculatory orgasms. So with that all being said, what do you want to pick up and run with?
Oh, I love what you're saying. I love about the intention of the penetration and what you deposit in it. So I think that's amazing. That's beautiful. And I often find it, I often find guys saying, my wife's not interested in sex anymore. And I always know, it doesn't just start from the one, So there's, are you conscious? Are you consciously penetrating? How long is the lovemaking lasting? How is the penetration? Is it 1 or 2 minutes, and then she's not even warmed up, and then you check. I'm just going all over now, but there's so much to this,
Yeah, there's so much more than meets the eye. I think we tend to go, oh, she's cold, it's her problem, it's her fault, she's got to go be fixed. When really it's not, and no one's at fault. It's just a new way of relating to who we get to be together through intimacy and sexuality. And here's another thing I'm curious to get your take on. Because there's also an unconscious way that I believe women penetrate men. And it's oftentimes the energy from the heart. If we could say that, if that there's a masculine pull in a woman's heart. We lead from our heart. We want to penetrate the world through our heart. Our breasts are the physical manifestation of that energy that wants to give and be a force field in the world. And we can be very unconscious towards men and how we treat them, our way of entitlement, we have our own way of sort of barging in, so to speak. And so I think when that woman that you worked with said, "May I enter you?" It's again, it's like an awareness of consciousness of, can I be with you in this way? Instead of just assuming that I can have and take.
Oh, I love that, Leah. No, I think that's beautiful. And there's this thing out there that men always are ready for sex and always want sex and then always should have sex. And, and I
Right.
think that for me ties in with exactly what you're saying, So when a woman becomes also conscious with that in how she penetrates the man and with her heart and how she connects with him, that men, it's false. It's not true. Men and women are not so different, and it's not like, and
So true.
I often say to guys, honor your erection, honor yourself. If you're not ready for lovemaking, and if your body, let's say, is not ready for lovemaking, either your erection or your heart isn't, don't make love.
Yes, I love that. We call that honoring the wisdom of the wand. How do I know I'm
Exactly.
supposed to be soft? Because I'm soft. How do I know I'm supposed to be hard? Because I'm hard. How do I know I want to have sex? Because I feel the desire for it. And it's the right time and it's the right person.
Yes, exactly. And then sometimes you could even have got one group of 8 guys I spoke to the other day, and he was saying, and you can even have the erection, but you felt, wow, man, my wife just fought me now with me the morning and says I'm masculine and she wants, I just want to fuck me, and I said, I don't feel like that now, because even I have an erection, I feel like I'm not being honored. I'm just now going to be used. And these conversations are not, people are not used to it. It's okay for women to say that, but for men to say that is kind of not okay. And so most guys don't say it. But, if you create a safe
Right.
space for men to share, then a guy like that actually share it. And I said to him, well done, brother. Thanks before you're so vulnerable and so open, because it
Yeah.
ties to me exactly into what you're saying there.
Yeah, and I think that it really provides men with a new sense of empowerment when they can say that to a group of men. It's like
Sure.
a new sense of wholeness comes online for them, and you're teaching men how to have orgasm without ejaculating, so that they can have multiples. Is one of the powerful things that you teach men. And what have you seen are the benefits in the rest of their life? Not just like, okay, they become better lovers, but how does it penetrate into other sectors, their health, their work in the world, their relationships, their home life?
Oh, well, I could talk for 2 days about this. Yeah, the
I'm
benefits are
sure.
so numerous. It's just amazing. And as you say, just just in the context of the sex life, making love for longer, so it's not just improving the sex life, but also then improving the intimacy and the relationship with their partners, because now they spend not 2 minutes or 5 or 10 minutes in this interaction, but 20 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours now. I just love it. Imagine now having that sensual close time with your partner, and you make love and you rest and you make love more, and it's eye connection and all of that, the intimacy, the vulnerability, all of that spills over into the rest of the relationship. After that, you go and cook some food, but the love making still continues, for me.
Yeah.
It spills over and you wash the dishes, but in between you, there's still this love making happening, because you've taken time with each other. And I really believe, I feel so strongly about it, I really believe as a man, you have to learn some skills around being able to 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 have choice around your ejaculation, to hold I don't like the word control, but to hold it and to have choice around it and be able to make love for longer, because it brings so much more into your life. Because now, not just in the relationship space, but also you become more aware of your body. You become more aware of your partner, and all of this means you become more aware of life around you. So now you walk in the world a day or 2 days later, and you're just more aware. Awareness creates awareness, So now you become a much more conscious, aware man, and now you interact with the world with bigger awareness. God, I think we really need more aware, conscious men, and be in their
Now,
power and be in their strength and be in their masculinity, but also be connected to their heart and to be in full awareness of people and the planet around them.
yeah, bravo. More of that, please. My theory on why that awareness becomes more alive for a man who doesn't ejaculate every time he makes love with himself or with a partner is because he stays full instead of empties. Like there's that place where when a man ejaculates, it's a wonderful reset for stress, which is why I think so many men end up being addicted to their ejaculation, is because they're trying to get relief, but it kind of empties everything out. Whereas when you can play with your sexual energy and you know, Chinese medicine says that in order to create life itself, the energy has to come from the organs, the chakras, and the glands to have enough life force energy to endow that sperm with life so that the chances of creating life are greater. So if you spin all that up and instead of ejaculating, you reverse the polarity of that energy and you give it back to yourself. It goes back to the organs, goes back to the glands, goes back to the chakras, therefore creating regeneration in you. And I feel like it's that alchemy that provides a man with this more this bigger ability to stay present, to have more awareness, to feel his aliveness and vitality. And therefore, as a woman, he's more romantic. Like he's paying attention more. He's more present. We're getting extra text messages in between the day, and there's more I love yous, and there's more like the hugs are longer and the gazes are longer, and the little pats on the butt are sweeter. All these little things just get richer and richer that I think add to that intimacy and add to that what you described as like the lovemaking doesn't stop. Because he doesn't go away because he emptied out. Does that make sense?
It makes 100% sense. By the way, beautifully articulated.
Thank you.
Definitely. I mean, I find I'm just talking about myself, but also the guys. I do these 21-day journeys with guys. Guided journey for 21 days where we don't ejaculate, don't watch porn. I mean, there's quite a lot to it. But so what I get from the guys afterwards when I asked them what's happened is that it deepened their heart connection with their partner. I mean, I had partners of guys saying to me, "Wow, what do you do with my band?" Or what happened there? Because our heart connection is so much stronger. And I can just personally talk, and I make love and I don't ejaculate. I mean, it sounds amazing. I'm just going to say it as it comes up. I almost become like a woman, I still want to cuddle, I want to hold my beloved, my woman, my chick, I want to, you're going to roll over and sleep. Sometimes it's cool to do that. But I find I definitely, affectionate. Exactly. I like what you say. You stay full. So you're not empty. You're still full. I still want to cuddle, still a holder. And then, it's essential. And 10 minutes later, energy takes us into another lovemaking. So yeah, I think it's, I mean, the semen is this, we make life out of semen, all this best parts of our body goes into a drop of semen that creates life, a new life on this planet. So this is so powerful stuff. And I don't know what, I think the Taoists said something about, you guys know better than me, but like, I don't know how many cups of blood to take a drop of semen and how many, I don't know, maybe not truckloads, but how many truckloads of food just to make the blood, so much food to make the blood and so much blood to make the drop of semen, so this is so crucial, this, and I love what you say, if you retain it in your body, you just, so the guys are saying they're glowing, the people coming up and actually people coming to them with business proposals. Women are approaching guys that they would have never done. I hear crazy stories.
I think it's the fountain of youth, Lenerd. I think it's the fountain of youth for the masculine. I think that life force energy going back to the body, going back to the nervous system is what keeps men, younger and alive and having more volunteer erections as they age, and it's what's enabled them to make love long into their old age. I really feel like it's one of the greatest sexual secrets of our time for men to learn. I'm so happy that you're out there providing this for men, because for Willow and I, we can coach men, and we're pretty good coaches at helping men experience this phenomenon. But to get it from the masculine is a whole nother ballpark that I think her and I can never transmit. And one of the things that you said that I want to just highlight is there's this desire to be more cuddly, more affectionate. And I think what's important is that that feels authentic. And so what I hear you saying is that as a result of doing these practices, it's an authentic expression for you, that desire to hold and connect and have that sort of non-sexual but sensual intimacy.
Definitely. When I was in my 20s, I mean, you hear these things, don't jump up, and you see it in some of the movies, so the American movies, don't jump up, hold the woman, and then I lie there and it counts to 10. Okay, is this not long enough to hold her?
Right.
Because you don't want to be an arsehole. Okay, now you made love. Okay, let's hold her bird so she feels good. I mean, fuck, if you practice this stuff, it doesn't come from that place. It comes from, as you say, an authentic place. You really want to cuddle her, you want to hold her.
Yeah, it's genuine.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear more about your 21-day journey, because that's quite a short amount of time for a man to get proficient, I feel like, at this work. So tell us more about how you guide them.
Yes. So I actually have it as a self-study, and then I have it where you can do as a self-study, and you can do one-on-one with me 4 Zoom calls. And then I have it as a guided, the third option, a guided, where I got 20 guys. Last week, 20 guys on a call. And then 4 Zoom calls over the 21 days. And then I find that super powerful, because the men keep each other also accountable. And we got a number of 4 or 5 agreements when we start. And the first one is not to ejaculate for the 21 days. And if you do, you're not getting shamed, So it's like, but yes, as you put your agreement in. The other one is not to watch porn for 21 days. I mean, it seems short, but some guys are addicted to porn. It's pretty tough to them.
Totally.
And then we got a morning breathing thing, not to look at your phone, and we do a Kundalini fire breath, and then a gratitude thing, and so it's structured, and it builds up over the 21 days with videos on a daily basis. And I take them through the whole process of starting to feel energy. And as you say, like 21 days it's like, I probably call it level 1. I want to do a level 2. I haven't done that out. But it is profound what the guys start feeling in terms of energy and breathing energy up. Towards the end, we actually get into the microcosmic orbit, which it's quite advanced for guys that have never done anything, and in a way.
Sure.
But
what do they say, Lenerd?
Pardon?
What do they say? Like, how do they describe the energy or the feelings that they're feeling as a result of the practices?
Yes, I tell you that for me, the big thing that I've, especially this last group, is the self-pleasuring. So I teach them in a course, or talk them through it in terms of self-pleasuring, where you don't go to your genitals first. You just touch your arms. So it all builds up. The first week is just, you don't even go into genitals. Then the energy start building up, and the guys start feeling, wow, it's not too hectic. They get super energized or super horny. And then I have like sexual energy integration exercises that they can breathe it up, tell them to go and run around the block. But the beauty is, guys that have never been aware of energy start feeling this energy in their body. And they start feeling that, wow, even not 21 days, but 7 days or 10 days, fuck, there's something different happening.
They start to feel a difference.
Because most men, let's just be very direct about it, is since the age of teenage years, have ejaculated on a daily basis or every second or third day. And I believe there's this ejaculation hangover period. It takes you 4, 5, 6, 7 days for it to replenish in your body. So most men, they're 50, 60. That means for 30 years they've lived in ejaculation hangover.
Yeah, they have no idea.
They've never replenished.
Like.
Yeah,
they never replenished, and that's why I'm so passionate to have the guys on the course, either my course or other courses. There are 2, 3 other guys in the world, not many, but there are 2, 3 other guys also doing the same thing. Because I say to the guys, you can watch so many YouTube videos. You can watch this beautiful video interview we're doing here, and you get it in your mind. But unless you go and do a journey with someone, or unless you go through the practice of not ejaculating, for example, for 7 days or 10 or 21 days, you're not going to have this body experience. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's super
I
important.
think what's unique about what you're doing, Leonard, is that it is a daily thing. You've given them a prescription of what they have to do each day and what they're looking for. I think in
Yeah.
a lot of schools and trainings, we teach them the theory, the practices, the pressure points to help them get control, but to have some accountability where they're actually practicing a method every single day, and then that builds up over time, and their awareness for what they're looking for has subtle shifts, is a great way to support men having an embodied experience where they can be successful with this. Because what I experience is that many men, they give it a try, right? They try it once. Oh, the technique didn't work. They still ejaculated. It was now
It was not a
anticlimactic
good
and wasn't
orgasm.
for
Yeah.
me. Or they might
Yeah.
try it twice. They believe in the
Sure.
theory, but they don't actually take it into their body.
Yeah.
And it's one of these things you do have to practice in order to discover its magnitude.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you go play football or rugby or golf, I mean,
Yeah.
you
You gotta
practice. I
practice.
mean,
You
Yeah,
practice.
exactly.
you
That's
practice.
right.
It's not
Once you
just
get
like
it something,
you read
you
a book and
practice.
then now you're a 8 handicap golfer. You play a lot of golf to get to that point, or football or rugby.
I love
And
I love the
yeah, and what I
idea
find
too.
is that the container is so powerful. That's the one thing about men. I tell you, they are.
Yeah.
If you put them in a circle like this, it changes because the guys are then supported by the brotherhood. Plus, there's also a little bit of a pressure in a nice way about a bit of, wow, like, okay, I've given my agreement, I'm going to go.
Right.
So I think that is a critical part, that accountability, being witnessed, because now it's not so easy to, after 5 days, I'm now going to ejaculate, because now the Zoom call next Tuesday when you share, you have to now say you
Yeah.
did,
I don't want to let down the group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That totally has
Yeah,
an
or I
added
don't want to be the
benefit.
one guy who did ejaculate,
Who blew it
right?
off.
It's a little
Yeah.
bit, yeah. I think
Yeah.
I think having like a men's, there's more and more men's groups coming online these days, and I think it's so vital and so powerful for men to have that support, and as you said, Leonard, being witnessed by each other and without judgment, because there's so much judgment amongst everyone in the world, but especially amongst men, and competition, and self-judgment and self-criticism, and all of that can just really, when you're building a container like what you're building, Leonard, you can really keep all of that out and just be honest with yourself, and then be honest with others about what you're going through and what you're experiencing and the shift that you're having. And I think that is just one of the biggest gifts that we could give to any human being really on the planet.
I tell you, I often say that after these courses, I say, I wish there were some women as flies against the wall here to hear the vulnerability of these guys when they share. Good God, I get blown away. It's the moment you put like 20 guys in a circle and they feel safe. And obviously there's a confidentiality, and, we have some agreements that's one of the agreements, this is confidential. The sharing and the openness and discussion from between the guys, it's like, it's really beautiful.
So I've got a twofold question. One is, how is the pleasure different, like non-ejaculatory orgasms? Because I think a lot of men hear this and go, wait, what do you mean? You want me to fucking give up my ejaculation? That's how I come. Are you crazy? Why would I ever do that? So like to talk about how you get more pleasure, not less. And then I'll save the follow-up till after.
Awesome. I switched the light on just because I think it's
Sure.
the sun
Let's
is
get
going
some
down.
light on you, Leonard.
Yeah, the sun is going down just for you guys.
Leonard is calling us from
South
Africa, as he said in the beginning of the interview. So different time zone.
All right. So otherwise, I'm going to sit in pitch dark here. Now.
Now we can see you.
Awesome. That's better. Otherwise, we'll just get darker. Yes, that's the first reaction from the guys is exactly that. Is that, hey man, the ejaculation is pleasurable. Why would I want to give that up? And are you crazy? And then when they start realizing that by breathing this energy up in their body, they can feel so much more pleasure through their body. Now, obviously, that doesn't happen on day one, but they start feeling, that moving this energy, they can, they make love for a longer period, still have the beautiful sensation in your lingam and your cock whilst you're making love, and then they start dropping into that, and then feeling the orgasm in the body, and that. I prefer not to say orgasm, but almost like the feelings and that and a sensation of energy moving in their body. Then once they start experiencing that, they're like, wow, there's more to it. And then, some of the guys get to a point where you actually have this almost like genital orgasm, but without the ejaculation happening. That has been profound for me. It just happened totally by accident with me 20 years ago. I mean, I didn't even know about Tantra. I didn't even know about Taoism 20 years ago. I just started having these orgasms, not just the full body orgasms with energy in my body, but also like feel as if I have ejaculated, but nothing actually comes out. It's just like energy coming out, So I tell them about that. Now I'm cautious because also don't want to put this massive thing up there that they feel they now need to achieve. But the guys start understanding that, wow, there's a bit more to it than just the ejaculatory thing. And then as the course goes on, guys start experiencing it. And then some guys share in the circle and say, wow, man, this crazy thing happened with me last night. And then I think it's a slow process. But I think it's a massive challenge. I think, I don't know, I'm guessing, but I think probably 90%, 95% of the planet doesn't know even about what we're talking about now. I don't know whether it's 95 or 80 or 99, but the vast majority don't know, men or women. And I think it's because it's in a way difficult to get the point across, because it has to be a body experience in a way.
I think it's because it goes against the way our biology is wired. Our biology, our instinct from this animal place, it goes, come, populate the planet, make sure we survive. Sure. And so we feel compelled biologically to have this expression of an ejaculation. So when men are learning this, when women are learning this, it's not intuitive. They have to actually reverse. They have to grasp that moment of consciousness and make a decision before they go into it to go, no, I want to find out what this is. No, I want to see what other people are talking about. Why is this important? Why is it bigger? Why is it different? And you can only do that through multiple experiences. But then once you harness that choice, then the doors start to open. And what a lot of men have told me regarding like, how is it different? Well, not only is the after effects, I think that's the biggest difference, is how you feel energetically, the vitality, the awareness, the consciousness. But in the moment of pleasure, it's like climbing peaks. It's like you get to these high levels of arousal, but you don't go over the waterfall. And then you cool down, and then you can go to another high point of arousal. And it's so thrilling. It's so exciting to stay awake in those moments of high pleasure arousal states. Yeah. And then you come to realize, well, yeah, going over the waterfall is great, but then it's over. And so you get to like harness peak states of consciousness, pleasure, and sensation. And then that carries over. So I think the hard sell on helping men make a choice to give this a shot is that thing. They think they're giving up something. But what they don't realize is that what they're picking up is even better. Because I've never met a man yet, Lenerd, who goes, yeah, I think I'll go back to the way it was. Sure. They tried and they're like, this is it. I have more pleasure than ever before.
That's exactly it. And that's what's so nice to hear that from other men, when they actually say that. I think that's another, not just me saying it, not just you saying it, you guys saying it, like the men that then experience it. That's beautiful. That's why I interview the guys afterwards and we put it out. And yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it's
I'm so curious what like age range and what kind of men, like what's the demographic who tends to come to you and work with you?
Yeah.
Willow, you're gonna laugh. The group before this group, the youngest guy was 22 and the oldest 70.
I love it. That's great.
Love the range.
Such
love
a
the
range.
range.
Yeah. And I bet the 22-year-old was like, oh, thank God I'm learning this now. And the 70-year-old was like, how come no one ever told me this earlier in life?
Right.
Exactly. And the 22-year-old, he's sharing in a circle. It's actually a friend of my son. He read my book and he was like, wow. And my son is too close to home to do it, he isn't. But his friend did, and he heard it, and he heard about the course, and I gave him quite a big discount on it, under 25, I do it under 12, 25, a big discount. And he was in this course, and this guy was actually an inspiration for so many other guys. At the age of 22,
of course.
and he was saying to me, he called me and said, I read your book, and because he knows me, from my son, and he said, I don't think I'm doing too badly. I make love for 15, 20 minutes, but I read stuff here, and I think I might be missing something. I would like to check it out. And then he gave me this course, and it was so beautiful to hear his sharings and the stuff happening there. And that really, the young guys, I don't know, it's just so beautiful for me to have the guys in their 20s on this. And yeah, damn, man, we should learn this all.
It gives you so much hope,
teens.
doesn't it?
It gives you so much hope,
Yeah.
We all as boys should learn this stuff in our teens, because the body gets so programmed, as you say, it's biological, and and porn, and the ejaculation is all what it's about, and then as a teenager you're hiding it. So if we can, but I mean, that's the past. Let's go into the future to bring it to more young people. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Guys, so it's a wide range. It's quite a range from people 20, 30, 40s, 50s, 60s. Yeah.
All right. So if you're a male out there and you're looking to really learn how to do non-ejaculatory orgasms, have multiple orgasms, have really profound ejaculatory choice, and get in touch with your inner feminine, then go hang out with Lenerd. Tell us how they can find you.
Lenerdlouw.com is the website. Okay, well, I have to spell that. It's Lenerd Louw, but it's LENERDLOUW.
Yeah, we'll have it in the show notes too. And I believe you have a free gift for our audience.
Yes, I'm so excited to talk to guys in the States. I mean, I talked to a lot of people in South Africa and Europe. A lot of people in Europe. Was 4 months in Europe now and presenting at festivals. But it's amazing to be in the States. I just think it's everywhere all needed, but I think it's so needed there. And I would love to give to your listeners and a free copy of my audio and ebook, and if you put the link in the description, it's a free download.
Cool.
It's an ebook.
I love a good audiobook. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's called
Did
Jump.
you read it? Were you the reader for your audio?
I didn't actually. No, I didn't actually.
Okay.
Afterwards, people said I should have, but the intonation and so I got a really brilliant guy, Peter Noble. He won the audio awards actually 2-3 years ago in New York for audio. It's the Oscars of audios. So I got the best guy.
Amazing.
Cool.
Amazing.
Good for
That's
him.
great.
Okay, so the book is called Jump, an epic soul and sex adventure. So be sure to pick that up. Of course, the link is in the show notes. And I've got one last question to end this interview, Lenerd, and that is, how can women support their partner? Or it doesn't have to be a woman. How can partners support their partner in the practice of ejaculatory choice?
Oh, super, super important, Leah. So in my course, I actually get the guys on day 2, 3, 4 to discuss with their partner what they're doing, and then actually to show some of the videos for them. It's super important. So for a woman, if you're doing this, your partner must know about it, and she also has to learn a bit about what this is about. There's so much about this, and we can talk about that for so long, because then in the lovemaking, you start learning, when also to slow down, especially when he's starting learning at the point when he's close, is to also slow down and stop when she feels, so that you can massively support him. And then also, and that it's quite a discussion. So it's a discussion to have in a nice, gentle way, because women has also got a attachment to ejaculation, because it's sometimes linked to the desirability. So just to bring it across, this is the reason for that. And also, now we can maybe, but too detailed for the question, but there's also, subconsciously, women can also draw the semen out. And I believe you could be as good as you want. If a woman wants to draw that semen out, it's very difficult to hold.
Semen chasers.
Exactly. I mean, my previous partner, I was pretty good at that. And I had this discussion with her. She said, "Oh, wow, I wasn't aware." And I went, "No, I'm sure it's just subconscious." The next time we made love, it was slightly different. That subconscious pull. So this is just a pointer. It's not enough time to talk in detail about it, but it's a pointer why it's so important for both partners to talk about this. The partners are huge support in this.
Big time.
Yeah,
big
it
time.
seems like really important that women would need to kind of keep their finger on the pulse of the energy of what the man was experiencing.
Yeah. And to not take it personally, he's not ejaculating because he doesn't like you or isn't you're not desirable. All these things and ways women can make up a story that it's about them. It's not about you. It's about him growing in his mastery. And we want to celebrate that and empower that. Thank you so much, Lenerd, for being on the show. We can't wait to have you back.
Wonderful. Great. Thanks for the time. I really enjoyed it. Lots of love.
Love, love, love.
Now, our favorite part, the dish.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'll have more of that, please, Lenerd. Ejaculatory choice.
That was a great interview with Lenerd. You can tell that he's really walked his talk and that he just gets lit up by teaching other men and guiding them and seeing them go through these transformations that really mastering this sacred sexual technique requires.
Yeah, and I really love his 21-day process. I like that he slows them down.
Yeah.
You know, I like that he's having them build awareness of different parts of their body. And like bridging the energetics to this. I think he's doing a really interesting job. And I love men gathering and getting vulnerable and cultivating trust with each other and being open. I feel like it's sort of an epidemic in our culture for a lot of adult men are so lonely. And then once they start getting to middle age and they've had their first divorce and their kids don't want to talk to them. I mean, they're so alone. Where women, I feel like, have these connections that we invest in throughout a lifetime. And I feel like once a man kind of gets through that first 25 years of his life, he doesn't have as many guy friends. And it concerns me quite a bit. I think about it quite a bit.
You do. The thought
I
that keeps you
do.
up at night. Yeah.
It does. You know, I listened to an NPR episode once about this because the suicide rates are the highest among middle-aged white men.
Mm.
And it's staggering. And I believe it's due to this sense of
Lack of
aloneness and not
connection.
belonging. And they
Yeah.
get married and they invest all their energy into the kids and the partner. The partner becomes the only friend. You know, and they might be friends with other couples.
Right.
But they doesn't have that BFF like he did when he was 7 years old, you know?
Right.
And women keep those BFFs most of the time.
Yeah.
So I think there's a connection to that. And when men can talk about like conscious sex, it
brings
evolves
them
everybody.
so much closer together. Yeah. Because first
Yeah.
of all, they never really got to talk about sex in a conscious way to begin with. And then now not only are they talking about it, but they're transforming, like they're experiencing something they have never experienced before. I think that's one of the really powerful things that Lenerd brings together with the groups of men that he works with is the opportunity for them to articulate what's going on for them. Because when you actually speak out loud a physical, spiritual experience that you had last night or a few days ago, it concretes it more into your cellular body so that you actually own it more and you become more empowered around your ability, your confidence grows. I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I would imagine that his men walk away with is just a lot more embodied confidence.
Yeah. And being in touch. That goes with that embodied awareness that you were just talking about. It's having this emotional connection to themselves where they start to not only understand what they're feeling, but then can articulate what they're feeling, which I
Yeah.
think it's what women often feel like we're missing or that we crave. It's, you know, I want to know what's going on with you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of male partners don't always know how to express the feelings, the sensations, you know, in a way that can bond them. You know, I think there's a disconnect sometimes, like we're speaking two different languages. And it sounds like through some of these practices, they're getting in touch with a certain part of their emotional selves that
Yeah.
adds to the connection and the intimacy with a partner. I mean, how can it
Right.
not?
Yeah. Yeah, so powerful and just totally transformative for the relationships that these men are in. I love how he's like, I hear from the women. And then, they're like, what did you do to my partner? Wow, he's so much more connective and alive. I mean, ultimately, that's what we all want is to be seen and to be acknowledged. And it does require slowing down and looking deeper within yourself to be able to do that with someone outside of you.
Now, the good news for our audience is that we have a course that is all about ejaculatory control or choice. We've got a course that's all about this phenomenon that he brought up at the beginning of the interview, which is the root chakra work or the prostate massage,
Yes.
and the emotional release that can happen there, and the orgasmic potential that is alive there. And so we really encourage people, if you want to deep dive into what the whole anal pleasure potential is for penis owners, it's a great, easy to work through course. It comes with all sorts of ebooks and course materials, and the last 10 times longer is exactly on this topic, that we want men to feel empowered and that they've got a lot more range when it comes to pleasure and mastery that your dad never knew to teach you.
Yeah,
He didn't know this
exactly.
information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are listening and want to grab those courses, we'll give you a little special discount code.
Okay, so we'll have the code in the show notes.
All right, y'all. And if you want to find Lenerd, you know where to find him on his website, and check out his book. I think you're gonna love it.
That's a wrap. Love, love, love.
Thanks for tuning in. This episode was hosted by Tantric Sex Master Coach and Positive Psychology Facilitator Leah Piper, as well as by Chinese and Functional Medicine Doctor and Taoist Sexology Teacher Dr. Willow Brown. Don't forget, your comments, likes, subscribes, and suggestions matter. Let's realize this new world together.